Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building. We have Cassandra Cummings. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Cassandra Cummings from the Stocks and Stilettos Society.
Woo woo.
So let's talk about what that is, because you want to make sure you encourage Black women to invest more in the stock market and the importance of that.
Yes, the Stocks and Stilettos Society was really born out of my being a financial advisor and not seeing a lot of clients that looked like me. And so I said there has to be a disconnect because my sisters are highly educated. Where's the money? So I started Stocks and Stilettos.
I always recommend people to get financial advisors, but not all financial advisors are the same. So how do you get a good financial advisor? Because sometimes you can get some advice that really doesn't work for you.
That's true. You really have to find an advisor who you can trust, just like a mechanic, right? It's word of mouth. So you have to find people who pretty much have money situations like you have and who use financial advisors. And typically you can find a really good one.
Mm-hmm. What was your own journey too? Because you have an interesting reason why you even got involved in being a financial advisor and in finance.
Yeah, so when I was younger, my dad was a street pharmacist, as I like to say. Mm-hmm. And so when he passed away, he actually got killed. I received a death benefit. So I got a check. And along with that check came a financial advisor. And she kind of did me dirty. So I learned from that experience because she put me into high commission products without really, understanding my entire situation. And so when I became a financial advisor, I wanted to make sure that that never happened to any of my sisters or anybody that was close to me.
Break down what is a death benefit. That's not the same as insurance, right?
It is.
It's insurance.
Yeah, it's an insurance check.
Insurance check.
Yeah, it's tax-free, all of that.
Okay.
So tell me some of the things that are red flags that now that you look back at the situation that she put you in, what are some things that people should look out for? Because you said she put you in some high commission.
How old were you?
I was actually 17 when he got killed. I got the check when I was close to 18. Yeah.
And that's interesting too, though, for him to have insurance, being that he was a street pharmacist.
Because he was around good people.
Yeah.
despite the streets.
And he was concerned about you.
Yeah, I was his first. Mm-hmm. So he figured, I'm going to take care of the first and she'll take care of the rest.
So tell me, what were some of the things that now that you look back, you're like, this was wrong, like just to give us some idea.
So at 18, I got put in like annuity products, which probably wasn't a good fit for me at the time. I think also too, she really didn't listen to me. It was kind of like, I'm gonna just put you in whatever I feel is best for you at that time. So I didn't feel like I was really working with like a fiduciary at that time. Mm-hmm. And so I think that was a big red flag. Also, just not really understanding my family situation. I was the oldest of 6 girls. So that money needed to stretch over, quite a few people.
How did you find her?
She came with the check.
What you mean she came with the check?
So she came with the insurance company. So when they came to deliver the check, they came with me.
They don't mail a check?
They don't mail a check, not that large, not that
How much
at that
was
size.
It's gone now, so you can tell us now it's gone.
Well, it's not gone. I've multiplied it. So it was $250,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and so
that's a lot at 17.
Yes, that is.
Somebody,
a lot now.
Yeah, I mean, somebody that grew up on welfare, you go from welfare to like $250,000 in your pocket. You like, wow, what do I do with this?
You could have blew that if you didn't have somebody, showing you what to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how much did she lose of that?
How much did I lose?
And how much did she lose? Because you said she lost a lot of that
did you
money
dirty.
with bad investments.
It was the type of product. So it was, high commission products. I can't necessarily quantify how much she lost.
Was it half? Was it a majority of it?
It was probably about 2/3.
And when did you decide, you know what, I need to leave her? Like, she's not a good fit for me.
Probably when I got into college and I started to learn about how money works. So
you went to USC.
I went to USC, fight on.
So tell me, when was that aha moment for you?
It came because I went from predominantly black schools to a PWI, predominantly white institution, and I got to really see a difference in what wealth really looked like from a white perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was an aha moment for me because, white people don't really wear their wealth like black people do sometimes. And so it just really taught me how money worked differently than what I had become accustomed to.
What else? What else other than, material items did you notice the difference?
I just noticed that they really stuck together. Like they help each other. So one thing that I learned coming out of USC is like a Trojan family. And so the network is real strong. Mm-hmm. So they really help each other win financially. So I brought that with me to the Stocks and Stilettos Society.
So it's a safe space for Black women to learn about investing and have those conversations?
Absolutely. And I think with women, we have a hard time talking about money. Like our relationship with money is so much different than men. And so we kind of need that sisterhood, even when it comes to money, just like we would with parenting, just like we would with shopping or anything like that.
Like, what are some of the differences that you notice from men and women when it comes to money?
Yeah, I think that women are very fearful of investing. And so I think that, having a community to talk about those issues or really try to overcome those fears with money helps. I find that women do have money to invest. They got money for BBLs, they got money for handbags, they got money for a lot of other things. Lace fronts. And so, they have money to invest, but they just haven't been exposed to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes I know thinking like I have bills to pay, and you think that when you have credit card bills, when you have student loan debt, when you have rent to pay,
right,
when you have families to take care of, you're like, I don't really have money to put in the stock market. And you also are fearful that you'll lose it.
Right. I think the other thing, too, is that Black women, we have a tendency to also, like, help other family members. So a lot of other family members count on us for financial aid or financial assistance. And so that also puts puts an extra burden on our pockets, too. And I don't know necessarily if men necessarily, face that as much as women do, as much as women do.
Oh, 100%. If you're the man and people know you got money.
A little dough.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what would you say to a woman or a man listening right now that says, hey, I want to get into stocks. What's my first step? How can I, get my feet wet into that market?
I think what you have to do is you kind of have to get a money mentor. I think just jumping in cold sometimes is not a good look. But I think if you wanted to start, it's just about opening an account. And I would say start with a little bit of money and just sort of watch how a stock behaves, how it moves when the market is good, when the market is cold. Just really watch and see how that particular company is moving in the market.
Are there any stocks that somebody should look out for?
I would say on the horizon right now, Amazon and Google, because they're getting ready to split. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think, last time Amazon split was like $19.99. That's when it was time for Gen Xers to get in. This split is really a call for millennials to jump in. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when you see things happening, like they're talking about Nike and how their stock went up, does that mean now it's too late for you to try to invest? Because, they tell you when the market's up, you got to really try to buy the dip.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dip right now because the Feds are looking at raising interest rates. Mm-hmm. And so markets don't really like uncertainty. So there's been something about, the Feds are looking to do a number of rate hikes, and the market is just not really favorable to that. So there's going to be quite a few dips along the way, and it's going to be ample opportunity for people to buy stocks on sale right now.
What about Ukraine and the war with Russia and Ukraine? How is that affecting the stock market?
Again, it's bringing uncertainty because we don't know what that outcome is going to look like. And so anytime there's uncertainty, there's an opportunity for you to get in when the market goes down, when there's a decline.
Now, besides Amazon, is there anything else? Because I know Amazon stock is, $3,000, over $3,000 right now a share?
But it's about to split 20-1.
So
yeah.
Is there anything a little less that people could say, let me start a little low? Because $3,000 is not a little bit of money to start with.
You can buy pieces of stocks, though, right?
Yeah, it's fractional. You could buy a fractional share. Mm-hmm. So if you only have like a couple $100 to put in, then I would say get that fractional share. You can get fractional shares on.
What's a fractional share for people that don't know?
It's not a whole. It's a part.
You don't have to buy a whole.
It's like putting a stock on layaway. So if you can't put, why you laughing?
What's a piece of pie? What's a piece of pie?
Well, there's all these different.
Not because you don't know how do you do it.
Well, you didn't say that.
I'm asking, like, how do you buy a share? Because most people don't know.
Well, there's a lot of different apps, right?
Yeah, so
there's-
you could get Stockpile. Stockpile, you could buy fractional shares or a piece of a share, right?
You can go on Robinhood. You can go on
Robinhood,
Public.
Fidelity.
I'm asking a professional, Yeezy. Go ahead.
I mean, she
No,
rocks,
but I'm
she
just
rocks
asking, like,
with
because
us.
you know, a lot of people, like with crypto, we had somebody that come up here talking about crypto,
Right.
And people automatically assume you had to buy the full amount. They didn't know that you can buy a part of a cryptocurrency, so they don't know how.
Yeah.
And even myself, I never bought a percentage of a stock. You know,
So how do you buy a piece of
Yeah,
pie?
how do you buy a percentage of
So
it?
you put your money in the account, and then you put in. I have $300 to buy towards Amazon, and it will tell you that you now own a little less than 1/10 of a share. That's how that works.
What about dividends? Let's talk about that because dividends are important for people to know because certain stocks do pay you dividends, right?
Yeah, dividends are really just a reward from the corporation saying we want to thank you for being a shareholder. So it's a way in which companies share in profit, and not all companies pay dividends.
Why do some companies do it and some don't?
It's a way for them to share in the profit. They basically reward you as a shareholder, and they get an opportunity to write some of that off too.
Can you live off of dividends?
You can, girl. So you can basically figure out a way for you to, getting a certain amount of money every month in dividends. So we work with ladies in the Stocks and Stilettos Society, and also another program that I do to help them figure out like how many shares they would have to own to get X amount of dollars a month in dividends, because that's passive income.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if Envy wanted to join the Stocks and Stilettos community, even though it's for Black women, could he join?
Absolutely not.
Why? Because he's Dominican?
No, because he is of the male species.
Do you know that for sure? Have you asked him what he identified
Yes,
as?
did you ask me what I
Listen,
identify?
I
cannot believe
I
you
don't want to
just-
play. I
you
don't
could
want
be
to play.
misgendering him.
I don't want to play with people.
But you're right. So now for people who do, like you said, want to get started, we talked about buying fractional shares. What are some other things that you can do if you're listening right now and you're like, okay, I've never invested in the stock market. What are some things that we should do, like just to get our feet wet?
You have to open up an account. You have to get with a community, right? I mean, the people that you're around, they say you become like the 3 most people that you're around in terms of finances. So you got to get around people who have money, who are moving with money the way you want to move. And so I think that's why the Stocks and Stilettos Society is really good. I think you just have to pay attention to the news, like what's going on in the news. A lot of times people get caught up on TikTok and Reels and things like that, and they're so oblivious to what's going on in the macro economy. And you have to be in tune to what's going on around the world.
I think some of the finance people need to start going to TikTok. Like I was reading an article yesterday where the White House was met with the top 10 TikTok influencers to give them news on Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they should do the same thing in the finance world, especially when you look at how big like Book Talk is and all the book recommendations that come from TikTok.
Absolutely.
They could do that with finances.
Absolutely. And it makes it more palatable. So you can actually get on there and digest it. It's not dry like watching paint dry. So, it makes it easy to understand the concepts.
What's the Build a Bag Options Bootcamp?
Build a Bag is one thing that we created within the Stocks and Stilettos Society, because I had a lot of people coming up to me and saying, hey, see, which can you do for $500? And I'm like, in my mind, not a thing. I can't do anything with $500, but I can show you how you can flip it trading options. And so we teach ladies how to go from 500 to 5K trading options. And that's really how Build a Bag was born.
Now, what does it mean when you say you can't do anything with 500? Because you said you can buy a fraction for
as far as a financial advisor.
Oh,
I
got you.
can't make money off that.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you.
Now, you said trading options. When you trade options, you have to be super duper hands-on with trading options?
You don't. We show women how to set the trades up, put in limit orders and things like that, because women are very busy, right? And so they need a way to be able to print money in the market where they don't have to babysit their trades. And so we teach them how to do that and Build a Bag. And so options are a little bit different Then stocks, they're a little bit more high risk. But if you have the right teacher, the right community, the right setups, that risk can be quite a big reward for you if you know how to trade these types of contracts. And what they are really is that they are basically a right to buy stocks, but not an obligation to buy them. So it's almost like renting the stock and making money off of it.
Gotcha.
Now, what about people who have someone that, like, say you invest your money and they kind of put it in the different mutual funds for you, and so maybe you're not really paying attention to it. Like, you know how some of us have these 401ks or we have these IRAs, and so we're not really like looking at what's happening with our money. We're just trusting that this is going to be like a long-term savings for us.
Yeah, so it's like an index fund, right? You set it and forget it. So those are actually really good too. You should definitely have index funds in your portfolio if it makes sense for you. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, I'm excited for us to do a lot more stuff together because the Stocks and Stilettos Society has like 100,000 women.
100,000 black women.
100,000 black women.
Yeah, I do put the black on it. Because, you know, they always say sisters can't come together and all that sort of thing. But in Stocks and Stilettos Society, you could sit with us.
I know, because what I've been trying to do with my friends is have these conversations more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not afraid to ask questions, but I have a lot of friends who are like, I've never invested in the stock market. I don't know where to start. I'm a little nervous. And some people also feel like they need to access their money more quickly. And we look at this as something that's more long-term.
Right.
You know, so what's your advice about that?
Yeah, I think you should have a two-pronged approach. I mean, I think you need to have a long-term investing approach and you need to have a short-term investing approach where you can actually print money or extract money from the market today. A lot of our ladies are underinvested, undersaved, and they want to know how to make money today and not like a Warren Buffett where they got to wait until they're in their 80s to actually reap the benefits of investing. So our community needs money now.
All right. Well, Cassandra Cummings from the Stocks and Stilettos Society, thank you so much for joining us.
Give them all your
for having
information.
me.
Tell them where to find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Stocks and Stilettos Society, and you can also find me on Instagram, Stocks and Stilettos. And then we have our Build-A-Bag program that's opening up. You want to go to www.buildabagbootcamp.com, and we're going to teach you how to make that 500 jump to 5K in 5 days with the boot camp.
Are we going to be doing some in-person things or?
Of course.
Okay.
I hope so.
All right, we're going to keep on discussing things because I'm going to be working with Cassandra Cummings more because I love things like this because, you know, I'm all in when it comes to finance and setting myself up for retirement one day.
Yeah.
And being able to finance businesses and fund other things that people have going on and philanthropy. And to do all of those things, you need money.
Absolutely. You want to be financially unbreakable, and learning how to invest will make that happen for you.
And be more confident with my money. Sheesh.
All right. Well, it's Cassandra Cummings, the Stocks and Stilettos Society. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.